What is up, everybody? I told you there would be a kit bashing video this week, and here it is. This time we're taking a look at another Admech Assassin, the third of 4 in this series. Looking at a childhood favorite of mine, the Vindicare Assassin. You might remember one of my first videos on the channel, I was unboxing some old minis of mine and came across my 3rd edition Vindicare Assassin from 2002, somewhere around then. And it's been a mainstay in terms of my interest ever since, so I'm glad to finally be able to make an Admech version of this guy. Now, unfortunately, I forgot to film the very first part of the video where I was assembling the torso, but it's not that exciting anyway, so let's take a look. First of all, we start with the torso of a Delac Elite Fighter, plus a backpack from one of the Skitarii heavy weapons kits that came along with it. And right after that, we have, I believe this is a Kitbashing destroyer head, as well as the Transuranic Arquebus, the monstrous sniper rifle that the Skitarii use. And I would have to modify that a little bit as well. So first things first, getting the parts all cleaned up. Of course, you gotta get rid of those mold lines, you gotta drill your gun barrels, you gotta do everything like that. And then after that, head's a little bit of an interesting situation for this one because the Necromunda models don't have a neck attached to them, and neither does the servitor. So I had to put a little extra bit of green stuff in there to act as a proxy neck, and then work with some way too old super glue to put way too much on there to stick his head on. I eventually got a good fit though and was able to position it to an angle that I thought looked interesting for what I pictured the final pose of the model to be. After that was getting the gun arm attached to the gun hand, and this arm is actually from an Age of Sigmar model, which is my ultimate kit bashing resource thus so far. Which is the Cities of Sigmar big carriage horse astronomicon thing. It has a name, I just don't know it. So we get the arm from that and start dry fitting it before deciding to pin on that joint because it is very fragile. So taking some armature wire or modeler's wire, or there's a bunch of different names for that kind of stuff, and drilling a hole into the hand and into the arm, we can fashion a much more secure connection using the pinning technique. However, this pin was a little bit too small for the hole I made. Didn't have an exact match, unfortunately, so I just had to make do with what I had at the time. Eventually, we got the arm attached and started dry fitting it to the rest of the model to get a gauge for how we wanted to position this arm moving forward. I had actually already modified the gun at this point off camera, in which I removed the tail end of the gun and replaced it with a stock rifle stock. Yeah, stock rifle stock, because that one didn't have an arm and a hand gripping it, so it could just be used as the plain old part of the gun, because I wanted to position this arm so he would be holding the weapon upright in one hand. After dry fitting that arm a little bit, I decided to add a blurry other arm to the figure before proceeding, in order to get a better scale for things like that. And, you know, after a little bit of finagling, I do finally get the arm into focus, and we can see that it is one of the Necromunda arms from the Elite's kit. Just unarmed, normal dude, holding nothing. After that was filing and attaching the gun arm, which took a lot of sanding, it took a lot of dry fitting, until I had a fit that I thought was snug enough to make a pretty secure bond, and eventually just went with that. Attaching the gun arm as well as a pistol to the side of the model did pretty much everything we needed to complete the entire thing. I just did one more slight addition of a little bit of plastic glue around the bond of the wrist and the arm of the gun holding arm to try and make that a little bit more secure. But overall, fundamentally, quite a simple conversion, just a couple of pieces here and a couple of pieces there. Everything ended up going together surprisingly well. So if you enjoyed that kit bash, be sure to leave me a like, a subscription, a comment below. What do you think I'm going to be doing for the episode? Because that's what's coming at some point in the future. It's the only assassin left. Leave a comment with your guesses. And without further ado, slap a base, some dry brushing on this bad boy, and you got yourself one Admech Vindicare Assassin. Peace!